with the most about Liz. Always, welcome back. So we are finishing up our franchise review of It's Alive with It's Alive 2, aka Island of the Alive. So this movie, I just finished it up. I've never, up until, me just watching it a few minutes ago, I had never seen this one. I'd never seen the second one either, up until I reviewed it. Honestly, it's a little goofy. Both the second and third one. Actually, the whole series is kind of like a goofy one. But, then again, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this movie. But let's crack into it, shall we? So this came out in 1988, I believe, 87, 88-ish, 87. And, basically our third and final installment of the It's Alive series. I know there's a remake. I may or may not review that, but we'll just stick to the third one for right now. And so this was the third and final one of the trilogy. So this one, obviously, it kind of is a few years later. It opens up in a courtroom with this Jarvis character. Kind of defending his baby, trying to win a custody battle to keep his own kid, basically. But of course, there's been several babies like this that were born that they're just trying to try and fix the problem and just maybe contain them all to one specific location. So what's the government's bright idea? Let's just ship the remaining babies that we have off to an island that has never ever been inhabited by humans. That's what they do. But of course, something that they stayed kind of consistent with the three movies is that these babies, no matter what, always seem to find their way back home to their biological parents and everything. I know this the story kind of picks up. Initially it starts off in the courtroom, but then it goes for 4 to 5 years later. So now they're gonna go maybe retrieve one of these now growing up babies, one of these toddlers, kids, whatever. Bring them back to maybe do some more tests, just kind of see what they're like as they're getting older. And of course, kind of shenanigans ensue. They're intelligent. They're obviously far more intelligent than people are giving them credit for. They kind of hijack everything and get on the boat to come back to the States, yada yada yada, and just kind of havoc ensues and everything. So, like I said, it's a decent one. There's a couple of consistency things that they, I give this one credit for. Like I said, they the ability to kind of always be able to find their way back home and everything to their biological parents. Accelerating, growing up in an accelerated pace and everything. Actually, a perfect example in this one is, like I said, these creatures now, these deformed monster babies are 4 or 5. I think actually 5. I think they said, and they realize that they're now at the age of reproduction. So that's another thing that they've got to learn of. Oh my god, it's not a normal human being where gotta wait for puberty, which usually happens in your teens, to start reproducing. It starts much sooner. And they do actually have, because there's 3, I think, that were initially taken to this island. So they figure out that at least a pair of them, the one female and at least one of the males, have reproduced and had a baby of their own and everything. I think if they would have done another sequel, it would have been kind of interesting to see if the biologic sort of factors would kind of come into play. Would you have a hybrid where the chance of one of these pairings of these killer babies would produce a normal kid, a normal human being. It would have been interesting, but I don't think we really need a 4th movie in this franchise. I don't think we did. I still don't think we do. It's just a nice little, trilogy that it is. But little things that I kind of did like. I like that we were seeing more adult versions of these babies. Especially with the second one, where we got to see them maybe a year old or so. seeing how they develop and everything. I do kind of like that where, you know, especially after the second one, at least for me, I was kind of like, it would be kind of nice to see what they're like, what their maturity level is, how they develop a few years down the line, or at least as like adults or something. You do kind of get that. I feel like it was done kind of like okay. Once again, like I said, this, you know, the sequel, you can't really expect a whole lot from this franchise or anything, but for what it is, I think they did an alright job. I think they did. I mean, it's a fun little trilogy. Nothing that's going to change your world or anything. Unfortunately, though, spoiler alerts! So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, as I'm kind of rambling on for you guys to be able to pause me or turn me off or whatever, till you see this, if you don't want it spoiled, now's your chance. But a spoiler alert on this, the 3 adults or whatever, at the end, all end up dying one way or another. The little baby does survive, and we actually find out that little baby, actually we do find out the male, I should say, because I'm just now thinking about what I just said a minute ago. The male, the father, I should say, of this like little killer baby is actually the offspring of the Jarvis character, so it is the Jarvis character, or the Jarvis baby. So the Jarvis parents themselves are now technically grandparents 5 years after giving birth to their son. A little weird, but hey, congratulations. And no, this is not the same Jarvis as the Tommy Jarvis character in the Friday the 13th franchise, although that'd be an interesting little crossover. Just saying. Wait a second. Something just hit me. What if Jason is really one of the babies from It's Alive? That would probably be one of the dumbest crossovers ever, but I'm intrigued enough to want to see that. I'm just saying, maybe we'll do a video on that one day. I don't know, a separate little video, but whatever. Anyway, totally off. But yeah, we find out that the little Jarvis grandchild has survived. The 2 parents, who actually were like divorced, separated and stuff, kind of decide to get back together, all because of this little baby. And like even the mom, because it, you know, like throughout the most of the movie, she's kind of like pretty much how like the father was in the first one, where he was just like, oh, you know, I want nothing to do with that baby. She really kind of turns around and is kind of like, oh my god, I got to take care of this baby. You know, because there was one of these things that was shot by cops, and the other 3, and they actually, when the doctor is, or the coroner is looking at the dead one on the beach, they're like, yeah, this thing is like got some sort of rash all up and down their body. We come to find out that it's measles. That the others actually have measles as well, and they're pretty much dying from it. So, you know, they kind of give up their baby. They want their baby to live and everything, and they kind of, you know who these people are. They've got the connection. You know, the Jarvis baby has that connection and everything, so they trust them. So they take the baby, they escape and everything, and that's pretty much that. So, but yeah, it's just a decent little, you know, trilogy itself. Like I said, it's nothing really great. This is definitely, like, this whole series is definitely not making, like, any of my, like, top 10 list, or even, I want to say, like, top 25 list anytime soon. But it's just a fun little, quick trilogy to kind of watch if you just want something a little different, you know, just something a little quirky. Third one is definitely, I liked it a little more than I thought, because I really thought it was going to be, like, bat crap, like, crazy off the chain, goofy. It is goofy, but not as goofy as I thought it was going to be, but decent little movie, decent little trilogy. So let me know what you guys think of this movie and everything. Till next time, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.